Hello everybody, welcome to another 5 Trends video where along with DubaiNews.tv we come up with a very interesting presentation today and a different format. You've always seen me speaking and certain slides after that, but today actually we're going to do live presentation with the slides, and we're trying this today because the topic is very interesting, and I have been told at least for the last 3 months that I should speak about it and I should present about it because there's a lot of questions that people have about it. So today we're going to talk about cryptocurrency, as you could see here. This is a very hot topic. More and more people would like to know about it. We are not going to give any kind of opinion whether it's a good or bad. What we're trying to explain in this video is, like we always do, in a very nice and easier manner for you to understand what is a cryptocurrency, why it's being used, what are the benefits of it, and where you can use it, and what are the disadvantages today, the way you look at it. So our job is today to give you the information which will help you evaluate the benefits or the negatives of cryptocurrency. So when it comes to cryptocurrency, there are a lot of things that come on our mind. Many people have asked me, what is it? Is it like a currency that you can buy, sell things? I must say here that it is a medium of exchange, but it's an electronic medium of exchange. It's created in something known as blockchain that we're going to discuss in one of our next videos in more detail, because blockchain is not about cryptocurrency. Blockchain is a much bigger, wider idea, which is very helpful, I believe, for many other things in our life. But it is a medium exchange, just like you would have gold, you have any currency where you have a buyer, you have a seller, they accept a particular barter, exchange, a currency or a commodity that they accept. So it is a medium exchange, which is created electronically in the blockchain. And it has encryption techniques, so nobody can copy that particular currency. And there is a limited numbers that you have to create units that are acceptable between buyers and sellers, so that there could be a verification of those transfer of funds. This is very critical. So cryptocurrency is nothing but it's a medium of exchange which is done electronically. This is what is important to understand. Now, when you go back into the history of cryptocurrency, you see that it was formed or first described in 1998 by somebody known as Wei Dai. Then obviously this is a persona that nobody knows about, but there's a name to it. Satoshi Nakamoto in 2009 created the first well-known cryptocurrency, which is known as bitcoins. And thereafter, the bitcoins were first used as a barter to buy 2 pizzas, which is in 2010. And March of this year, it was valued at about $1 trillion. So something which is valued at $1 trillion, even though the variations are significant. Today, maybe it's about $750 billion, $800 billion. The variation is significant, but it is acceptable as a unit of exchange between various buyer suppliers. We'll look at people who accept those in a later slide. But what are the key features? These are the key features, which is it does not have a physical form, which means it's electronic. Like I said, it was electronically created in the blockchain. There's no physical form. It is not like gold or silver that you think has an intrinsic value. But it has a value, but may not have no intrinsic value. And today, the whole idea of creating that within the blockchain to have it decentralized. So there is no central authority today, but there are governments who are working to create a central authority. I think that is going to happen as we move forward. Then it is, of course, protected by encryption that we talked about. The important thing, there are no transaction costs involved, but there are many other costs involved. And we have a lot of discussions are happening around those, which is power. Energy is one of them. Of course, you have access to them 24/7. And the most important thing, it can't be duplicated. This is where the blockchain technology of accepting a cryptocurrency comes into effect. Now we're going to explain a typical cryptocurrency transaction. How does that happen? Suppose I am the user. There would be a wallet on which I store my cryptocurrencies. We'll talk about that. Then of course there's a public key and private key for the transfers that happens. So how does that happen? A is trying to send a Bitcoin to buy certain things to B. So what it does is it signs a transaction in its wallets in a private key. Then it sends one BTC to B's address, which it has, which is an encrypted message. And that encrypted message, when it reaches B, before that it gets evaluated and it gets verified by the blockchain. Then it is received in the private key of the gentleman who's receiving it, the receiver, which is B. And so B then decrypts the message in its private key to see the currency in its own account. So that's a user flow of having how a normal cryptocurrency transaction happens. It is not important because we don't see it as users, but this is the flow, and that is why it's such a secure, because it's going through the encryption, it's going through the blockchain, and then only it gets decrypted. And when it goes to the blockchain for the verification, this is where it cannot be copied by anybody. This is what is critical. So when we talked about that cryptocurrency is a medium of exchange done electronically, who is it that accepts this? Today in many parts of the world, which may be Canada, US, and many other countries, Japan, it's very well accepted in certain outlets. You have the restaurants, cafes, and supermarkets. You can pay your fees in universities in Australia. You can buy automobiles, and sometimes, of course, the rules and regulations keep changing. Tesla says today that they accept, tomorrow they say don't accept, but it is slowly gaining importance. You have sports teams, you can book your tickets to travel, you can pay to AT&T and Virgin, and you can do your home improvements. So there are many different facets of our life which are today can be helped by having cryptocurrencies, only certain acceptable by those agencies. Then if you own those cryptocurrencies, then you can have it as a medium of exchange to get any service from them. For the last few years, you'll see that there's been a lot of discussion about scams happening in cryptocurrencies and people being defrauded. So one of the important questions comes, how do you store your cryptocurrencies? And this is, we're going to deal with this particular slide. You have hot wallets and you have cold wallets. Of course, there are many different ways that you need to make sure that you are storing in the right place and you are having it safe. But the hot wallets are, again, you have it on the cloud. We save everything in the cloud these days, but you have to go with somebody, the brand, with the product that you believe in. And then you have software wallets. And these are, of course, free wallets, Electrum, Exodus, Jax, these are available. But a lot of us actually use cold wallets, which are the hardware wallets like Binance, Bitwala, Coinbase. Coinbase is a listed company now. It's much easier, but obviously it's not available in all parts of the world. But if you are in US, it's much easier to use. So these are all the debit cards that you can use in out here. So crypto wallets, you need to go with recognized names, make sure that they are well recognized, much more acceptable, and have a very secure backups for you to be able to feel secure to keep your currencies out there. We have hundreds of cryptocurrencies out there today. But what we're trying to do here is tell you some of the very well recognized names. Many of them did not figure it because we took 5 of them only here. But there are many other nicer ones as well which are available, and more new ones are coming up. One of the most well recognized is Bitcoin, that we all have heard about. I think recently, because of the gain that has been done, Ethereum is the other one. You have the Binance coins, and then you have Ripple and Tether, and there are many more new ones which have come up in the last 2 years or coming up as we talk. The important thing about the market caps, but do not go by these market caps. This in March would be $1 trillion, today is 700 billion, tomorrow could be 800 billion. They fluctuate a lot, but the value is so high, you can't ignore them today. This is what is critical about these cryptocurrencies. One of the other very important questions that is asked all the time is, are these cryptocurrencies accepted legally around the world? So I must say that in a very large, vast majority part of the world is still illegal. Larger populous countries such as India and China, this is still illegal as a currency. But much in a developed part of the world such as USA, Japan, Canada and UK, there is some acceptance of the cryptocurrencies, and it is in the process of becoming much more of a legal nature than, or like we say, legal property than many other parts of the world. So you have to be very careful where to see as to where you are investing into and what acceptance or the usage can be of those cryptocurrencies. And when we bring that aspect to here in UAE where we stay today, obviously the central bank and the government doesn't accept, it is an illegal tender at this point in time. But having said that, there are many private agencies which have started accepting a cryptocurrency for a barter, but as far as the country is concerned, it is still illegal by the laws of the country. So in the region, there are various exchanges that have come up, whether in UAE or Oman or Bahrain, where you can buy and sell currencies. But having said that, and there are certain private agencies which are accepting it. But as far as legally it's concerned, in UAE, it is still Bitcoin, other currencies are still considered illegal, and the same is in Saudi Arabia. There is more acceptance of the same in Bahrain, but still the rules and regulations are not yet final. Here in this video, we are not for or against cryptocurrency. We're not talking about, you can always decide by reading a lot more before you invest into cryptocurrencies on the net, whether it's beneficial for you or not, depending on your risk return profile. What we're trying to present to you today as this last slide is what the proponents and opponents of cryptocurrencies talk about. Obviously, many people in the weaker currency countries, we believe, or they believe, that it's better to invest into Bitcoin than investing in the local stocks and bonds. Whether right or wrong, it's not our job to do that today. But many people believe a verified cryptocurrency ETF could be a much more stable and better medium to invest into. The launch of Libra, which is being talked about, would have a basket of government securities behind it, could be much more healthier or a much more stable coin to talk about. Of course, we do hear, depending on news flow, time to time, that from China to Turkey, everybody, different parts of the world, central banks are talking about coming up with their own digital currencies. And once that happens, then it would get much more acceptance among the public. Of course, among the opponents, obviously you have many risks of fraud we talk about, the volatility of these cryptos. This is not for everybody to invest into. And the fact that today you hear a lot of news about these are energy guzzlers. There's a lot of energy being used to mine this cryptocurrency, which is, again, when in a world where we're trying to go green, is not very acceptable and is not a good point to have. So there are, and it's an illegal tender in many parts of the world, and still have to get acceptance from the people, from the governments of the world. So till that time, there is always be problem with respect to accepting a cryptocurrency. Now to summarize the whole presentation, we did discuss about what is a cryptocurrency, how you can store cryptocurrencies, how a transaction using a cryptocurrency takes place, where you can use these cryptocurrencies, and whether it is a legal form accepted by many governments, and whether it is yet an investment currency that we can really accept in different parts of the world. I hope you liked our presentation today, and if you like, do give us a like on this video, and we will be much more encouraged to do more such presentation format videos for you.